Hey guys, welcome back to the second video of the SQLite. So we're going to start off with the database handler first, and what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this information out of here. So currently right now we have extends the SQLite open helper, and so we have this public database handler, we have contacts. What we're going to do for now is we're going to take the nullable out. I think actually I might have to leave that in there because that is, when I did that, that was automatically, so that's fine. But we're going to take the rest of this out and put it right there. Perfect. And we're going to have a super context. We're going to have name and factory. And I don't think we need version, so we'll just have factory. What we want to do is we want to invoke our utility, and we want to grab the database name over here. So we're going to change that around a little bit as we get started. So when you going to get tickets. All right, so usually when you do something like that, it automatically gives you the default address, and then we'll go from there. So we want to grab the database name, and we want to grab the version of the database, and we want to put it over here. But something I noticed right here, it's not going to work because, oops, we have this as private. So let's change this to public right now. Public, else we'll never be able to reach it. All right, perfect. So go back over to, and so now we have context. And so what we want to do is we want to grab from our utility. So what you do is you grab your class name, which is utility, type in, oh geez, I'm gonna have to do caps lock. I always do that. And do utility. Right there, dot, and then see how when you do dot, it pulls up information there. So we have database name, so I'm going to do DB name, and then comma. Let's see here. Let me do comma, and I'll show you what's going to happen here. So comma, and then we have to put the cursor name. So we're just going to put null. See cursor factory name. We're not worried about that right now. And the other thing is we want the database version. So we're going to do. Oh, there we go. I didn't know, and then I have to put my caps lock on because I haven't changed it yet. And then we need to do database version, and then I'm going to take this factory information out here. Perfect, awesome. So now when we call that, what happens is we're easily able to, should be able to open it up here. Excuse me. You could reveal and finder. So used to Eclipse. Eclipse allows you to open up the object that you're referencing. But okay, yeah, right here you could go to declaration. I think that'll be it. Yeah. So then it takes you over to utilities and shows you what you're declarating. So this is so think of this as the parent and this and the handler being the child, but we're able to use these classes to communicate with each other. All right. So I'm trying to think. There's actually another language, ASP.NET. If you use the MVC product, you could do something similar to this as well. It's something new that they're working on, but I'm gonna show you. So this will be very similar if you've attempted to do that. All right, so this right here is our onCreate function. So this is basically going to, create our this will create our tables. All right, so let's get started. All right, so let's go in here and we'll set up a we're going to use the SQL that we talked about, structured query language. And this is what we talked about in the previous video. So we're going to type in create a string. So we're going to build a string, and just kind of like in our last video where we built a string builder and it carries on. So we'll say create underscore contact table. You could call this anything actually. You don't have to call it this. So now we're going to let me go back. I don't have my Sublime here. Actually, I think I deleted it. But if you remember, I said, hey, let's create table, table name, contacts, and we did something like this. And then we, if you remember, we gave it value names. Like we said, hey, I'll just do this, teams, varchar, 25 or 2, whatever. And then we did this. That's basically what we're going to do here. We're going to program it to do that. So we're going to say create table, space, and then we're going to we're going to append the string. We're just going to build the string out and give it enough space so that it can run this script. So now we're like, hey, create table. What's the name of the table? I do this all the time. I gotta take that off. So now I want to contact my utility dot table name. See, this is nice because we go over to here. We store the table name in one location. We don't have to store it in multiple locations, which makes it very easy for maintenance moving forward. So we say table name, and then we do plus, and we do double quotations, and then we put a left parentheses in there and hit enter, and then we do plus. So we're just going to add on to it. Oops, I am going to make my life easy here. Copy. If you remember, I have a shortcut set up to every time I hit shift and U, it increases the space on here, and so that messes me up. So we'll do utility dot the key ID. I think I have key ID in there. Let me see. Oh, look at that ID. So how to fix that? All right. So key ID. All right, so it's not picking up. Let me exit out of here real quick. Maybe it just needs a chance to refresh. ID, yep. Let's make that uppercase, like the rest of them. Oh, not is. Okay, and let's exit out. And let's go back in the handler again. Huh. Oh, you know what? I think I know why. We need to make that public. It's still private. Jeez. So let's make these public so that we can access them. Let's wonder why I wasn't seeing them. So, all right, make them public. Now that should come up. Perfect. So, key ID plus a double percentage. We'll call it integer primary key. It's the main key. I'll do comma, and then I'll add on and do plus. So plus is just adding to it. So let me do edit paste. I don't have a Mac keyboard, so I can't do all these things. Key name. So key name here, plus, and then we'll do double quotations, and we'll do text. Okay. And we'll do a comma after text. Come down here and just keep adding on. Plus utility dot key phone number. Have to add the key phone number. Plus text. This time we'll do text plus, and then we're going to do nothing. Double quotations, and then we need an execution here. So this right here, when we call this script right here, we pass in the database name. We're basically saying we're using this database name, and then we create this script right here. So it's going to say create table plus the table name. So it's going to say create table contacts, and then it's going to say in parentheses, kind of like what we did over here. It's going to do this. So in this case right here, it's going to say create contacts, and then in this case, it's going to say we have key integer. So key ID plus integer, so we're going to have an integer, and we'll have a key name and the phone number, and so forth. And now we want to do an on upgrade. So this right here, we have the old version, new version. This is going to be where we're going to have the execution here. So this is where it gets executed at. So let's put this here. How we execute the code. All right. So now we come down here, and what we're going to do is type in here and type db.execute SQL, and we're going to say, hey, we're going to say, I got to put that in caps lock, drop table, yep, I got it, drop table if exists, and then we're going to do a plus my utility, and then we're going to do dot table name. So drop means get rid of table. So if we go over here, so let's say that we wanted to drop that table, and we did drop table contacts. What happens is the table disappears. So what we're saying here is hey, if it exists, drop table if it exists, if we call this, if we want to upgrade it. So we're going to, what will happen is what we're doing is when we run this, we'll say, hey, if it exists, let's drop it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create we're going to call this function right here and again create it. So that way, if we want to, this is only if we want to upgrade or downgrade. So let's say that this script got updated and we wanted to make changes to it. We'll just drop and rebuild it. So this will create the table, and so it'll create it all the time if you think about it. So we do on create, we pass in the database. So you see right here, anytime we want to update this script and maybe add more fields or whatever, we could do it here, and we run our script. It drops the table and rebuilds it by creating this. Hopefully that makes some sense. And that is it right there for part 2. So this is Database Handler. All we did right here is change some stuff around and created the database and the code. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. Happy Monday.